always mean to make sure I check my desktop before I get in here to make sure there's nothing up there that it's like, it's kind of brave of me to just put my desktop out for the world to see, right? Exactly. Like, here I am. That's right. We're not going to go to my browsing. I'm just kidding. I have no problem. You can check my browser all day long. All right? Very good. What's that?
You can run for office.
I couldn't run for office. There's way too much YouTube video of me out there saying things. So, hey, it'll never happen. So, I have to explain away. Be constantly just explaining, well, here's what I meant by that. Here's what I meant by that. That's being misconstrued. So, good morning. Everybody good? Seems like it's been like 2 months since I've seen you. Because it's been 2 months since I've seen you, right? We skipped July because the first Wednesday in July was the 4th of July. Happy 4th of July, by the way. I already had that. Jim, you got good audio? All right, good. So let's go around. We got a lot to cover today. So we got our vendors I want to touch base with real quick, get them in and out. We've got a presenter vendor, and then we've got an agent to interview with all sorts of stuff in between because stuff comes up. So let's get going. Jerry, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good. All right.
My name is Jerry Papa, Gulfview Realty Property Management. We're located in the West Chase office and have been for the last 5+ years. We provide professional lease and property management services throughout the greater Tampa Bay area. We are a seamless, systemic cloud-based system. All of our property managers are licensed real estate professionals that specialize in lease and property management under my direction and under the direction of our property management council at PRO. We pay referral fees. We promise to never steal your customer. And we do pretty much everything by the book. And if you're ever interested in knowing more about our services, please see me at the office or here. We have rack cards. And I thank you very much for your time.
Awesome. Great. Do a great job, by the way. And if you haven't got the notice about all our property management changes, if you're doing some property management on your own, you need to make sure you check with Maureen because we have basically a form I'm making you sign that makes you want to not do property management. All right? Because you're basically saying that you're signing your life away. Here's the deal. 5-star reviews, 5-star reviews, 5-star reviews, 5-star reviews. Every 1-star review we have, 1-star review we have is related to rentals. Okay? Every one of them. Okay? We're glowing and everything, and we have far more 5 stars than 1 stars. I get it. But there's a correlation, all right? And I'll say this even though I know it's being recorded. Here's the issue when you deal with rentals. It's a different population. It's a different segment of society. It's never their fault. They have to rent because they can't get a mortgage because it's never their fault. Do you understand that? Right? So when it's never their fault, it's 1 stars because it couldn't be my fault, all right? So realize that. So therefore, we're going to just pass that along and let Jerry get all the 1 stars. All right? Okay? And deal with, he never told me this agent, okay, trust me, all right? And we'll just go sell houses, all right? So refer it out to them, or somebody, all right? I recommend Jerry. Refer it out to them. Let them manage the property. Let them 2 years from now when the landlord who thinks he wants to be a landlord and says, forget this mess, I'm tired of being a landlord, goes to Jerry and says, hey, I'm ready to sell my home. Oh, but Eric's the one who introduced you to us, so now I'm going to give you back to Eric to list your home. The reason you want to do property management is because you want to protect the relationship. I get it, right? Because you want it 2 years from now, 3 years from now, get the listing. Cool, I understand it completely. You get the best of both worlds here. You dismiss yourself from it for a while. You can still stay involved, by the way. Check in every 6 months. Hey, how's it going? Jerry treating you right? Do all that kind of stuff. Check up on it so that your name's still fresh in their minds. So it doesn't become, what was, started with an E. Well, Eric, that's it, right? You want to be fresh enough so that they do ask to, use you when it comes time to do it, but just relieve yourself of that headache, all right? Let other people who are well-trained and love 1-star reviews do it, okay? Got it? All right, good deal. All right, perfect. Awesome. Francine.
I moved so I could be first.
You see, you like that. I'm smart, all right? I didn't blame you. Yeah.
Good morning, Francine Beal, American Bank Shares Mortgage. Very proud to be a vendor mortgage partner of yours. Here for anything you need. We do it all. We do it quick. We do it fast. We know what we're doing.
See, look at that.
Thank you.
Look at that. See, look at that. We got a hand review. That was basically an amen. That's when she waved her hand like that. It's like, and it's a hanky wave. All right. So you got Sarah Hash.
Sarah Hash.
No relation to Fran. She gets asked that twice a day. She said. All right?
Sometimes 3 times.
I told her to take advantage of that. If she's going to pay for all those billboards, right?
Oh, I agree.
Then go for it, man. I tagged on that thing all day long.
So I know we're being recorded, but those 1-star reviews,
Yeah.
I know a guy.
Yeah.
We can make those go away.
Make them go away.
We
huh?
can make 1-stars go away.
Good deal. I love that.
Anyways,
I know
Sarah
a guy,
Hash.
Guido, that can make 1-star go away.
Same guy.
Same guy. That's right. You break your knees. All right. Okay. Here we go.
Equity National Title, 2 things coming up this month. We've got Coffee with Council Thursday the 16th. We're going to talk about short-term rentals and Airbnbs and how you can make money with those and educate your customers. And then August 22nd, I'm teaching a contract class, best practices.
Nice.
So that's what we
And
got.
then where's your Coffee with Council is where?
Is at the Lucky Dill on the 16th at 9 a.m. and the contract class is at Achieva Credit Union from 10 to 1 in Dunedin
Awesome.
on the 22nd.
Perfect.
So find me on Facebook, sign up there.
Gotcha. Check them all out. Remember, vendors come to us. The reason they get to, because we have no relationship with any of these people other than they bring value to the table, right? That's the way they get in front of you, is if they bring value first, then we allow them in to talk to you because there's a reciprocating benefit here, right? Those who are just going to kind of say, hey, look, here's my box of donuts and my rate sheet and use me, right? It doesn't quite cut it. Both these vendors, Jerry included, everybody that you get to hear from us is all based upon relationship and knowing what's going on and the way they help you build your business. Cool?
Hey,
Awesome.
on a side note, I coerced Tiffany into bringing Jed today.
Nice,
Because I thought we
exactly.
needed to
So
meet
Tiffany, we've been missing Tiffany for the last couple. Where you been, Tiffany?
Oh, I brought Harry's in. He's sleeping.
Oh, good. Look at, he is adorable, by the
Our
way.
newest member of state insurance.
Nice.
His name's Joseph, but we call him Jed. So if you're a baby lover, feel free to come love him.
Pinch a
up.
cheek.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
I've been seeing everyone the last couple of months, but I've been a little busy. If we haven't met, I'm Tiffany with State Insurance, and we do home, auto, commercial properties, and we have about 30 different companies that we write with. So we like to say we have a market for everything. There's a little caveat there, but like cloth wiring and those types of things. But yeah, it's good to be back.
It's waking up.
Oh, he's awake.
See, look at that. He heard your voice. Exactly. See? All right, she's gonna have to. Brian, okay, here's a rule of politics. Never follow a baby. All right? Okay.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. So go ahead, Janet. Ladies first.
That's right.
So anyway, Brian Brown, Old Republic Home Warranty. Actually, I just came today to tell you guys they are splitting my territory. So the people that are in Pinellas, that work in Pinellas, I have Seminole and Newport Richey. Somebody new will have West Chase and Wesley Chapel.
Okay.
So if you do work in Pinellas County, and make sure that you, in our system, you are in the Seminole office, or you won't have me as a rep. So anyway, just letting you know that. Also, if you come to the the FAR convention, please come by and say hi at the booth. I'd love to say hi to you. And anyway, since I can't, for some reason, I can't get him to move everybody from this office to Seminole, so you guys will have to do it yourselves. So.
You have to hunt him down. All right. If you're looking to use Old Republic, hunt Brian down.
Yep, and I'm sure whoever they hire for Old Republic will do a great job. So anyway, and I'll be hopping in to see you now and then.
It's the cost of your success,
Yep,
right?
So
Corporate sales. That's why you guys would love it.
Corporate sales,
Don't you guys glad you're not in corporate sales? You grow so big, they take your territory away.
it's kind
Exactly.
of what it is. So, anyway. But I appreciate everybody, and if anybody ever has questions, and for some reason, like I said, they haven't hired that person yet, so I'm still your rep until that happens. You'll get a notice, I'm sure, that says, hey, this is the new person. So till then, you can call me, and even after that, if you have a question, get a hold of that person. I'll be more than happy to help you.
Awesome.
So, and I'm
Good
going to
deal.
leave because Terry's here, and
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Step on toes.
Step on toes.
I appreciate that. Janet,
Good morning, everyone. I'm Janet Shum. I'm with Old Republic Exchange Company, which is a sister company of Brian's company. We are a nationwide 1031 qualified intermediary. We're here to help you grow your business. I'm a member of Pro and Greater Tampa Realtors, so I'm here to support you guys. I do classes on 1031 exchange. We're working on a FERPTA class right now.
Nice.
I know
I was
that's
just
a
gonna
big
ask
thing.
that. Yeah,
We're working on that.
absolutely.
It's coming. It's
Okay.
coming. So if anybody has any questions or anything on 1031 exchange, let me know.
Well, awesome. And if we do arrange a class for either one or both of those,
Yeah.
could we record those?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, perfect, awesome. That'd be fantastic, because we have FHR University, which has a ton of stuff. I'd love to throw that up there, because you remember FERPTA, the reason she's working on FERPTA is we automatically think FERPTA, we think, oh, seller, right? Let's be involved with the Foreign Investor Real Property Tax Act, right? It all involves a seller. Well, guess what? Huge buyer ramifications, all right? You need to understand FERPTA from your buyer's perspective if the seller is FERPTA, right? Because here's what happens. A FERPTA seller is now in Lombay, right? 6 months later when they figure out, oh, we should have taxed that person. Well, we got a nice, easy target here called the buyer that we can just attach, and they'll come after the buyer after the fact. You gotta understand that. Buyer after the fact, even though the seller is the one that should have paid the tax, if you will, back in the day. Well, again, they're gonna send somebody over to Mumbai to get the money out of them, or are they gonna come after the buyer that's here? All right? So just be aware that buyer ramifications exist, and those are questions you need to ask. You need to make sure that it doesn't apply. You say, well, they should have disclosed it. Yeah, they should, but what's your attorney gonna do? Now go to Mumbai, right? It's just, you gotta catch it on the front side, all right? So that's why we're gonna
That's a
teach
good
that class.
point. Good point.
All right,
Yep.
cool, awesome, good deal. Get everybody here? Look at that. Here's Joseph, raise up Joseph, all right? Lift him high to the
I'll do
sky.
like Lion King.
That's right, you're the Lion King, exactly. What's up, buddy? Look at that.
Send me insurance.
And that's
Send
right.
me insurance.
Can you say Future Home Realty? See that, a boy. Good job. Awesome. Good deal. Perfect. All right, we're going to come back to David here in a second, because David is our resident attorney. Oh, we got our roofing company over here.
We're new.
Okay, you're new.
You might have sat at the wrong table.
Okay, that's all. Yeah, you got to sit at the vendor.
that. We're
Awesome.
at the wrong spot.
That's good. So, and you guys, have you presented with us before?
I have not.
Okay.
Last meeting would have been the first.
I gotcha.
But my name is Wes
Okay.
Edwards. I'm with Tadlock Roofing. This is Dylan Robinson. It's our first visit. Thank
Nice.
you for allowing us to be here. I actually found out about this group because the person who sold me my home when I moved here 2 years ago
Yeah.
was Natalie Schluntz.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who's one of the realtors.
Yep.
So she told me about this. We are a company that has been around 38 years. We're in Jacksonville, Orlando, Tampa, Pensacola, Tallahassee is where we're based out of. We do commercial and residential roofing, and it's pretty simple. I focus on providing that service you're
Yeah.
talking about to realtors. Has anyone here ever run into an issue, either for a buyer or seller, because of the roof?
Sure. Right.
Okay, you don't need to raise your hand. 'Cause-
Right.
all right. So what we're here to do is provide solutions for that, okay?
Nice.
And those solutions come with no strings attached. You call and ask, I'll do my best to help. I call it good business karma.
Yeah.
Figure help enough you guys get what you need, eventually it comes back around to us.
Sure enough.
But we have a lot of solutions for you. Have ways for people to get a house 6 month, no interest, no payment, a roof, excuse me, so that they can get the roof on if they need to sell it and move through. We work through where you need to put that in escrow until the house is closed, and we get payment later so you can get the house sold. There are a lot of things that we try to do. I've dealt with this ever since I started in 2004. This used to not be an issue. I was around when it came about, and I've given classes on this, and I'll be giving a presentation here eventually on it. Our goal is to help. That's what we want to do. We want to be that support for you, that bullet in your gun. You need to shoot down that big monster to close that job. So we'll have some cards here or whatever, but thanks for the opportunity. And last but not least, we will have a video like you're talking about,
Yeah.
a presentation. However, if you want to jump on something before that, if you go on YouTube and just look and type in Roofing University, Tadlock, you'll see I have about 30 educational videos, and a lot of them are to help you as realtors to see something you may not understand. They're all about 90 seconds each.
Perfect.
Great for a glass of wine, puts you to sleep at night. But but those are also offered to help you out, any information you may need.
Awesome.
So thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Absolutely.
Use them in social media?
Ma'am?
Can we use them in our social
Yes,
media?
ma'am.
Can you share those?
They're on our website as
Awesome.
well.
That's great.
Under FAQs.
Perfect. Awesome. Terry, you ready? I'm ready. All right. So here's Terry Pryor. You guys, Do you have that little quiz thing game again? No. Oh, my son loved that. That was perfect. Yeah. He was here that time. So remember, this is not a microphone. This is just so that they online can hear you.
Oh, so don't speak really loud?
Well, right. Well, and it's not projecting your voice.
Oh,
is what
okay.
I'm saying. So actually, you might have to speak loud. Make sure that everybody can hear.
Hi, you guys. It's always so much fun to be here, and I only get to see you a couple times a year, but I got to share a story with you. My dad just recently turned 93 years old. And oh, he's so cute. And he had a knee replacement about a year ago now. So I'm always calling and checking on him to make sure he's doing okay. And I called him a couple weeks ago and I said, Dad, how's it going? And he said, well, it's pretty good. And I said, how's your rehab? And he said, well, I actually went out and mowed the lawn the other day. And I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? No, it's hot. And you're 93 and you just had your knee replaced. He goes, no, I'm taking it slow. And he said, Terry, I've got to share something with you. He said, I'm mowing my lawn. And he said, I got a little winded, so I pushed the lawnmower down kind of into this little gully area of the front yard. And I went up on the front porch to have a glass of water and to cool off. And he said, all of a sudden, a car pulls in. And a young man, now young to my dad could be my age, but he says, a young man gets out of his car and says, sir, let me finish the lawn for you. And he was like, no, I'm going. He goes, no, I insist. He goes over, grabs the lawnmower, and finishes my dad's yard. He goes up on the porch afterwards. It turns out he was also a Marine. They both start sharing stories of being in the service and all. But guys, it got to made me start thinking, when have you done something nice lately? When you add a home warranty to your deals, you are doing something really, really nice for your customers. And you might not even realize it, but guys, right now, how are all these homes, how are the sellers selling all these homes now? What is the two-word phrase? I got prizes. As is. All right, there you go. As is, right? Hold on, I got a prize. So, an as is contract right now says to a buyer what? What is the seller saying to a buyer when they say, I'm selling my home as is? Don't ask for anything, right? Here you go. What is your name? Michelle, thank you. Don't ask for anything. So here's my question to that seller if I'm the realtor. If your water heater breaks tomorrow, Renee, are you fixing it? Your house is for sale. Are you going to fix the water heater if it breaks a week into our contract? Why? Exactly, because you're taking showers, right? You're not going to take cold showers for the rest of your listing. So guys, a home warranty, I put them on your tables. A home warranty for a seller can hold a deal together. I cannot tell you how many times I get a call about 3 to 5 days before closing that goes something like this. Terry, we just did our final walkthrough. We're closing in about 4 days, but we just walked in and the AC isn't blowing really cool. The buyer's getting one. We're going to give it to the buyer. Can they just wait and call it in? And I'm like, what? You're breaking up. You're breaking up. We must be in a bad zone. Guys, what are they saying to me? The deal is on the balance act here. They may have to renegotiate, or worse yet, what is the seller going to have to do? Fix it. He or she's going to have to fix the AC. If the warranty is in place, however, we are responsible for those repairs. And they don't pay any money up front. So I just want to share with you, buyer-seller coverage is awesome. Look at it, understand it, and let me know if I can help. Because right now, what you want to do is set yourself apart from all the other listings. I know there are not that many out there. I know we're struggling. But be different. Show them how much you care. Add a home warranty. Let the buyers know that you want to take care of them and do something nice for them during that listing. Okay? Any questions about home warranty or how seller's coverage works? The buyer's policies average about $500. The seller's portion is only an additional $75, and that is paid at closing as well. So we will start doing repairs for your seller before they've paid a dime to American Home Shield. Okay? Any questions? Of course, if you're working with buyers, make sure you ask the sellers for one, because I know right now it's not something that a lot of sellers are willing to do unless asked. So please ask them if the seller will provide a home warranty. Okay? Questions, comments, concerns? I am so good. Okay, so I just want to... Huh? Just ask me, that's right. So the last thing I want to share with you is this. When you close with American Home Shield, there's a little payday. Now, just make sure you understand that it happens after closing. You must call me so that I can show you how to go get your reimbursement, but just don't forget that you have one. I'm getting calls from a lot of you that are calling me saying, you said something about a reimbursement, but I don't know how to do it. Guys, you only have 60 days to get it. So please reach out to me before the end of that, well, right as you close with American Home Shield, and make sure that you don't walk away from that money, because it's money that if you don't go get it, we just get to keep it. Yes. I'm sorry?
Yeah, what's the process on that?
Yeah. When you close with American Home Shield, you get $50 if you give us the seller's email and phone number. You get $75 if we get the buyer's email and phone number. Did you get one? Okay. And if you give us both buyer and seller email and phone number, there's a $100 commission available to you. So just keep it in mind, because, and everybody, I get questions like, I thought that was a RESPA violation. It's not, because we are getting before we give. So you have to give us that information. It's a data collection program. So you give us the email and phone number of your customer, at the very least, you will earn a reimbursement from American Home Shield. But there is a step you have to take to get it. So call me if you're closing with American Home Shield. Call me at the time of closing. I'll tell you what you need to do to go capture that money. Okay? Yes?
Is there, do we need to have a disclosure that we give the disclosure and things like that?
It's on the back of the brochure that you may be reimbursed a marketing fee right above where they sign their names. And guys, I do ask that, for your sake and for Bob's sake, that you do present this and walk away with a signature, because you want to be able to say in a court of law, not just that it was talked about on the contract where they hit NA or whatever. A judge will look at the contract, that the black and white one that everybody signs, the big formal one, as these are lay people. They may not have understood what they were signing. If you have this signed, it says you presented the home warranty to them. It's a protection for you, for Bob, for future home realty. Okay? So make sure that they do put a signature on it, whether they say yes or no. Get that signature to protect yourselves. Questions? Any others? Well, guys, I just want to say thank you so much. I hope, as Brian said, that you are any of you coming to FAR? Are any of you coming over to Orlando to the convention? Whatever. If you change your mind, come over and see American Home Shield booth. We're gonna have a cornhole competition. We're gonna have a key that you can turn and maybe win the prize. It's gonna be a chance. Yes.
And I gotta tell you guys, Terry's fantastic. I've used
Sherry.
her exclusively ever since she saved one of my deals with the buyer and stuff. And she just steps in there. And if you guys need her, she's been fantastic. I have, I think, 2 or 3 buyers that got brand new AC units because she stepped in and said, no, this is not right. And so, but she's taking care of it, and she's always there for me. Like anytime I need something or we have a question about, hey, is this covered, I call her and she's just fantastic. I recommend her highly, and I use her on every one of my deals, and I always appreciate her.
And here's a prize for you. Thank you. There you go. And Sherry is one that we just worked on the reimbursement stuff. It's not complicated. You just have to remember to do it. So yes.
I noticed that even your regular cover, the sellers and the regular essentials cover failure of lack of maintenance, rust.
Yes.
Do your competitors do that?
Most of them don't. I think there's one, I will not name it, that also does that, but most of them do not cover for lack of maintenance. If it's a maintenance issue, they will be required to do their own maintenance and then sent back out possibly to do the repair. Also, guys, that some of our competitors don't do it. Again, I'm never one to talk about competitors, but I think this is very important for you to understand. Right now, anyway, in the state of Florida, if you change out a condensing unit, you have to change out the air handler as well. We have to do both, and we do both for you. If your condenser's bad, but your air handler's fine, we don't care. We will replace both of them for you. Some companies will replace just the bad one and then charge you for the difference of the additional piece. We do, and the reason I say right now is because in 2019, some things probably are going to change because of the refrigerant stuff that's going on, which is a whole nother day. But anyway, thank you so much, Bob. Thank you so much for all your business. You guys are like my number 2 office in my universe. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And remember, do something kind, stop and mow a lawn, or add American Home Shield.
It's a lot. You can do that from the comfort of an air conditioner.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, thank you.
Get out in the hot
Thank you guys so much.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks,
Thank
Terry.
you.
Appreciate it. And you know what? Jim and I are going to be in Orlando.
Yay!
So come over. Well, I'm going to come play
get your own
cornhole.
booth.
Yeah, but I'm going to come play cornhole. We don't have cornhole at our booth, I don't think.
Play cornhole, guys. Thank you.
Come to our booth, you get a chance to meet me. That's all you need, cornhole. Gee. See you, Terry. Good deal. Awesome. Hey, Mara.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm great.
You guys know Mara? Who knows Mara? All right. Hey, Mara, we've known Mara for years, but Mara has worn different hats for Future Home recently and has now transitioned back into a lot of, besides doing a lot of stuff for me, doing a lot of file compliance stuff for agents, transaction management. So tell us what you got going on.
So I do.
And how much availability do you have?
I do have some availability.
Okay, good.
I can probably take on a couple more clients, 2 to 3 more clients.
Yeah.
I really do transaction coordinating from soup to nuts. So as little as just managing the file and paperless pipeline for those of you that don't like to touch that, or those that don't like to put their MLS in, to doing the entire transaction from, executed contract to close, where I work with lending, I work with title, I work with you, I work with the co-op agent to make sure that the deal goes through to closing.
Perfect. She is excellent, does what she does. She's a project manager by trade, all right, in her nature, and that's what a closing is. Everybody understands that. It's a project that needs to be managed, and the payday on that is the payday, right? And so a lot of times we don't get paid to close deals, right? We have to close a deal to get paid, but we don't get paid to close deals. We get paid to go write another contract, right? So if there's a way to do that, and you have a little bit of a menu of services, right? Kind of some a la carte stuff if they want.
Yep.
Okay.
I do. And one bonus is because I do work for Future Home Realty, I have access to paperless pipeline. So that does help make sure that I'm monitoring the file to make sure that you are in compliance so that you can get paid.
Right. And she's done some compliance work for us on the other side of paperless pipeline, the other behind the curtain, the Oz part, right? Okay. And so the part that actually issues the DAs that you're looking for, so she knows what they're looking for on the others. Now, we don't let her do file compliance on her own files, all right, because that would not be, the attorneys in here would say that's a little bit of an issue, right? Yeah, David said, what are you talking about, right? But that being said, it allows her to have that knowledge on the other side. And I'm just telling you, if you're looking for a transaction coordinator, which again, as you get busy, you need to have one, right? It's just, you shouldn't be doing what you're doing for the amount of money that you could be dispersing of that information or that responsibility off to other people. So how do they get a hold of you?
You can email me at MARALEE@futurehomerealty.com or call 813-765-8613.
Okay, Mara Lee, M-A-R-A-L-E-E, that's Mara Lee, that's her name, at futurehomerealty.com. And then phone number again, 813-765. 8613, or speed dial number 2 on my phone. All right, but you don't have my phone, so you have to do mirror number, okay? All right, everybody got that? Cool? does a fantastic job. If you're looking for a good transaction coordinator, I mean, it would be huge. So, cool. David, you got a couple minutes? Let's take advantage of him. David's bored, so let's get him excited here, all right? I'm going to wake David up a little bit. So, a little bit about David. David is not only owns American Patriot Title, all right, which is attorney-owned. Sarah's company is attorney-owned as well, so I'm a big fan of attorney-owned title companies because, hey, sometimes in a pinch, it doesn't hurt having someone write a letter that has Esquire. Do you have Esquire behind your name? Do you ever use that Esquire?
Yeah, that's extra.
Okay, all right. Yeah. He charges extra for Esquire to be behind it. All right. But it tends to have a little more teeth sometimes when a letter comes with an attorney's letterhead on there. You know, trust me, as the receiver of these letters, okay, from other Esquires, okay, it's never fun when I get a letter from an Esquire guy, and the very famous phrase at the end is, govern yourself accordingly. Hate when I get a letter that says that, right? That means a lawsuit's coming, all right? Govern yourself accordingly means you better lawyer up. And so with that in mind, David owns American Patriot Title, and they have a thriving business there. But in addition to that, he's also head legal counsel for the Greater Tampa Association of Realtors. So as far as real estate specific knowledge in the attorney field, David's it. He's not a Fran Hash, right? Okay, he's not an ambulance chaser, even though I did see you the other day. No, just kidding. He is very specific in real estate, very knowledgeable, has taken a lot off my plate when I do have these issues. I've learned, much to my chagrin, to just say, hey, you know what? My weekends and my whole days go a lot better if I just forward that stinking thing to him, right? Instead of let it bug on me and, hey, what's not right and it shouldn't be happening and we have no fault here, but we're still getting sued. All that kind of stuff, all right, just isn't productive for me, so I need to pass that on. So I've learned to pass that on to David and let him deal with that. And you're also going to be at Florida Realtors. He's a huge resource for us, is what I'm trying to tell you, because his stuff that he's dealing with the association and all that stuff, he runs across things that he makes me aware of, and he's a huge benefit to us. So a couple things we wanted to cover was, one, just came up yesterday, and I'll let David expand upon this. You guys know, everybody Ring video doorbells, cameras in the houses, like everybody, it's like cameras are like $1.95 a piece now, right? Everybody understands that? So your clients and you going in, first of all, when you go into a house, all right, my advice, I'd have to retrain myself, trust me, because I used to, wow was my favorite word. Wow. Because wow's very ambiguous, right? Wow, that's the most beautiful chandelier I've ever seen, or wow, that's the most god-awful thing I've ever seen, all right? But I just say wow, because I did, wow, that's the most god-awful chandelier, and the lady said, oh, my aunt has one just like it that I gave it to her for her wedding anniversary. I'm like, oh, just lost that sale, all right? So much for that one. So I learned to say wow, but nowadays I would say zero, right? Because everything potentially is being recorded. Right? Going back to the whole theory of if you ever lose all the data on your phone, just call the government. They'll get it retrieved for you. All right? They've got it all on file. Just give them your name and social security number, and they'll have it rebooted onto your phone in 2 seconds. All right? So that being said, I had an agent that did not understand this, and yesterday they knew that there potentially were cameras in the place, that the tenant had cameras in the home. But if there is a recording device, what has to happen, David?
Well, there's some people think, the Michael Cohen thing, and he recorded Donald Trump without Donald Trump knowing it, and so it must be okay. Well, that is in New York State. All right, New York State has a different law than Florida does. It's interesting that the statute, oddly enough, is, and I know there's, people out there think that, attorneys talking about statute numbers, it's like catnip. They get really excited. All right. So just for those people, I'm going to give you 934.03. All right. And what that says is it's a crime. It's a third-degree felony to record someone else without their permission, not just knowledge. If you make somebody aware, and they say, "Well, I don't want to be recorded," they're aware, but they haven't given permission. All right. Without their permission, it's a third-degree felony, punishable by up to 5 years in jail. All right? Is that what you wanted?
Well, yeah, kind of,
Okay,
and therefore goes my sleep tonight as well.
right.
So just be aware that if you have knowledge of this on your listings, for instance, all right, that they have cameras, you need to notify, because it's not only you, it's not subject to realtors only, right? The sellers are liable as well for, or whoever placed the camera on the premises that now has recording, ability, can get in trouble if they did not properly notify and get permission, not to just notify, just saying, hey, it's here, I need to have written permission. So the advice would be to turn the audio portion off. And certainly, let me make this clear, if you didn't turn the audio portion off, then don't go blabbing about, I heard what you said about me, all right, through my Ring video doorbell, all right? And you lose, all right? Because A, not only is it not admissible, now the tables are turned and you thought you had something on them and now they have something on you. You got it?
What if
So,
it's not recorded, it was just live feed?
yeah, what's that, David? Is the prohibition against recording or just listening?
Well, I would say this.
934.04.
Bob brought up an excellent point, and that is where you think you have something on them. If they turn the tables and say, wait a minute, you live streamed my conversation, and who knows whether somebody down the road, down the line recorded our conversation. You don't want to get into that. And the flip side of that is, what's the advantage of recording the conversation? It's just not something that should be done. Because the only time you can use it, in negotiations, I can have a little leverage. Well, and I've seen this situation where there's a client that throws out, well, I've got a recording, and there's this huge cannonball that comes back and says, do you want to be reported to the state attorney's office? Is that what you're saying? And that shuts them up really quickly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of which, did you sign that paper that that we're being recorded here, right?
That's right.
Did you sign?
That's right.
I had your, but did I get your permission? Let me get something for you to sign.
I'm aware, but you don't have my
That's
permission.
what I'm saying, just because you're aware. I can't wait for that cannonball to come throwing at me, all right?
Leverage.
You've been doing this for years.
That's
John,
right.
It's just audio, not video.
just audio, correct? Video,
That is the way the statute's written, but, it could be changed, and it could be subject to interpretation. You don't want to get even into the gray area. You just want to stay away from that. Yeah.
So Florida's a two-party consent state, but is the rule the same nationally, or is it just state to state?
No, state to state.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Florida's two-party consent.
Two-party permission. Mm-hmm. Yep.
interesting. Good to know. So just be aware, Tom?
What would constitute permission or notice?
Well, good question. Ideally, they would sign a piece of paper, because what happens is, just like notice, when you're sending notification that you got approval on your financing, and notice is up, whenever the word notice comes up, the question is, well, how do you prove it? All right? So if anything less than the person signing something is going to leave you subject to a swearing contest. Well, you gave me permission. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. That's just not a very good place to be. Yep.
Right. So the answer, really, because realistically, if your listing has a camera with audio ability on it, the chances of you getting written permission before every showing is slim and none, right? So the answer would have to be, you need to turn off the audio, at least for the showings. Now, if they can handle it remotely and all that kind of stuff. Okay, what's that?
Can you do that on the Ring?
I don't know if you can turn off the audio on the Ring or not. I know there's a lot of things I can do. I can change some.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I have a Ring, and probably a lot of people do.
Right, if
Yeah.
they were standing at the front porch talking about something, then they could know. But also, this never came to mind before, but if you're showing a property that has a camera and you don't know it, and you have the limited confidentiality requirement of a transaction broker, and your buyer says, I'm gonna offer $100,000, but I'll come up to $115,000, and that seller has heard that on that video.
Yeah.
So I guess you gotta be quiet when you're in that.
Well, I think that's been a given forever. I mean, really, you really can't. I would never discuss what I'm potentially looking to offer. I'd go get Smart Days and go to the cone of silence, right, and just kind of put.
Say something.
Right, exactly. Well, yeah, that's why you kind of have to have that discussion and warn them.
Right.
By the way, that leads us into a whole thing about transaction brokerage versus single agency and everything else. And why, if you're going to truly be a single agent, which, by the way, get some people checking out Future Home Realty for the first time, we not only allow, but encourage single agency here. All right, we do not mandate transaction brokerage like a lot of companies do, because actually when you mandate transaction brokerage, it leads into, in my opinion, a bigger can of worms, because most people are violating the transaction brokerage agreement every day of the week. We've got a great class on FHR University about single agency and agency relationships, and why agents who are acting as transaction brokers are violating that all day long. Because they're having discussions about what the other side will say, because it's your buyer. No, on a transaction broker, it's the buyer and the seller, all right? Yet all these companies that get on their soapboxes about transaction brokerage, their agents are violating on a consistent basis, right? So check out that class, and we teach that a couple times a year, usually live as well, just as a good one to know. John?
Quickly, so when I call, technically speaking, when I call Bright House and they say all calls are recorded, and I have you said, okay, technically they're in violation. I'm not going to go after them, but technically, is that what you're saying? Or is that
Or by continuing on with this.
As notification?
Well, you're on notice, and I guess they're saying, corporate, maybe the corporate lawyers figured, well, if the person continues with the conversation, they have given her permission.
Okay,
That's a good point, and it's so something that if you had a sign at the door that said, hey, you're doing it, and if you're going to proceed through this door, understand that. It's a potential defense, right? But we don't like to deal with potential defenses. Right, yeah, exactly. So, cool?
To the buyer, who wants to see a big sign coming in knowing that you're being recorded? Exactly.
Right. So, a lot of this is, my whole point would be, let's explain this to the seller and say, hey, look, there's no advantage to having audio here.
Yeah.
All right? Video, if I can use video if they're, rifling through my jewelry, when they're not supposed to, okay? That's proof enough, all right? We don't need to hear them saying, I hope there's some good stuff in here, all right? The evidence that they're opening the drawers and rifling through probably is indication that they have nefarious intentions and weren't just trying to figure out the square footage of your jewelry box, all right? Okay, that's all I was doing, Your Honor. Yeah, okay, all right. So there are other things going on, all right? But there's no benefit in recording the audio because you really can't use it, all right? Or if you do, don't tell us that you're using it, all right? Because we don't need to know. Good? Listings being withdrawn or expired, well, not expired, but withdrawn from another brokerage, and then you're about to go relist them, right? David, tell us, you said you wanted to talk about, a lot of agents just go in there and say, oh, they told me it was expired, so here I go, right? Yeah, not so much.
Well, the risk is that you do a lot of work, and the prior listing broker has a claim to the commission. So there could be a situation where you relist the property, and you days before the closing, the prior broker says, great job, we get the commission, all right? So you're wondering how does that happen? Well, it all evolves from the listing agreement. And so you need to get a copy of the listing agreement, because the standard listing agreement that's approved by the Florida Realtors, but you're not required to use it, is what
it's what we use, right?
But it has a provision, second page, about a third of the way down at the end of the paragraph. It says, all right, you got all these things, but at the end it says, well, if the property is relisted, and because of that relisting, it is sold, then the prior listing is gone, is not a factor. I'm not sure exactly.
Including the protection period, because you understand, all right, that there's a protection period built into our listing agreements. And that's rightfully so, right? That's to protect from, David's the seller, I'm the potential buyer, Jim's the listing agent, all right? And we come in and the buyer says, hey, you know what? I looked and the days on market was 178. All right, most listing agreements are 180 days. I bet this thing's about to expire, right? So, hey, Mr. Seller, he's over there rifling through the jewelry drawer. Is your listing about ready to expire? Because if it is, that's 6%, 300,000. That's 18 grand. 9 and 9. Maybe you and I work out something, little something after the fact, 3 days from now, right? Well, that protection period is there to protect Jim in the fact that if somebody who saw or was made aware of the property prior to the listing expiring, even post-expiration, he would be owed a commission, okay? That's what well, it's actually 180 days is what's defaulted and built into our contract. Somebody who saw it during the listing and then contracts after the fact, okay? However, the provision David's referencing is a little further down, says that whole protection period gets booted out the door the minute it gets relisted with another agent, all right? So, realize that the protection period goes away if it's relisted. So people say, hey, I had something that was listed and it's off the market, now the seller wants to sell it on their own, but they saw it before, and this, my advice would be, all right, if I'm the buyer's agent coming in, relist it for at least a day. Now, take a look at the listing agreement, because we don't know that they're using the Florida Realtor approved listing agreement, then that's what it says, right? You can't assume that that's what they're using, all right? But most listing agreements that we've seen have a protection period and what's the word I'm looking for?
All bets are off.
A removal of the protection period upon relisting, okay? So, but you have to see that in writing. You have to confirm that that's the case before you are 100% sure that we're in safe space, okay? Speaking of, where are my millennials? Let's get to our safe space, come on. All right, that's all okay, good. We'll get you puppy dogs, get some crayons for you. You lost your listing, that's okay. All right, let's get you some crayons to draw. Tell us how you feel, write it out. Okay, sorry, John, I'm just kidding. I have no opinion on that, by the way. All right.
And you sign a listing with Jim that says you're gonna pay him 18 grand.
Yep.
And the listing expires.
Yep.
And then I call you and I say, I think I can do a better job. You say, great, John, let's list it.
Yep.
And you list it with me, and you
Yep.
say you owe me 18 grand.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I obligated to honor his contract? Why aren't you obligated to honor both and pay out 36?
Well, and that's very much the case. All right, good luck with that one. Right? I'm saying it is the case. It's the seller who's agreed to do it. But what we're talking about is not necessarily, what happens is that more than likely, you say, hey, don't worry about it. Your listing's expired. Don't worry, you won't owe a commission. Right? Then they're relying on the information of the professional, right? And then they're going to come back to you and say, hey, you told me that I don't have to owe one, you know what I mean? And so that's where it goes back to what Terry was talking about, that it doesn't matter if it's black and white, right? That they say, hey, they're the layman, you're the professional. All right, we're going to go against the professional all day long and give the layman the benefit of the doubt. It's a good point, all right, because we're not the ones who signed the contract. However, we need to not give bad advice. Say, hey, don't worry about it, you're out. Okay, fair enough. Good point, though.
The moral of the story is to get a copy, if you're the successor second listing, get a copy, have the seller say, give you a copy of that listing agreement. All right, read it over to make sure that it's gone and there's no carve out, because there are listing agreements that don't have the provision that Bob's been talking about. And there's still a claim that they reserve for 6 months down the road, and you get into exactly that situation, and the seller is told, well, you don't owe 6%, you owe 12%, and you cannot imagine what a mess that is. Now the question is, you call the seller and say, well, I never got a copy. All right. Well, there's once again another statute, 475.25, in the disciplinary section. The prior discussion was in a criminal statute. This is in a disciplinary section. If you sign a listing and you don't give the owner of the house a copy of that listing within 24 hours, you're subject to discipline, all right? So when the seller says, I didn't get one, then you can converse with the prior broker and say, you need to get us a copy. And if for some reason, one way or another, you need to get a copy of that listing so that you're not going to have a problem with this 12% or some other issue. They've made a list of 10 people who saw it, and we get that commission if they buy it within 6 months, that kind of thing. Just get a copy of the prior listing agreement so that you're free and clear, and that you will be rewarded if you get a buyer and have a closing.
And by the way, on our listing agreements, we're checking the box at the bottom, right? Got to check the box at the bottom that says seller has been provided a copy of this, because we have to provide evidence, all right? Saying I gave you one, all right? Better would be, hey, here's an email, I sent it to you, here it was, right? And here's the email attachment of everything, or here's the e-sign that you were included upon, everything else is good. That's another benefit of doing the e-sign, is so that you have evidence that they have been provided, because we want to avoid disciplinary action on our end that if we did not provide them a copy of the listing agreement within 24 hours of taking such listing. Okay?
That's it.
Got it? Keep this guy out of my hair, all right? Don't let me have to forward stuff to him, all right? We can talk and just tell jokes back and forth. That's a lot more fun.
Call block.
David, or I'm sorry, Jim. He's David, you're Jim.
Yes. Oh, just to let you guys know when you're using form simplicity and transaction desk, make sure you go ahead and put the check mark in before you send it off for the signatures, because that's what you're doing.
Right.
You're giving a copy through email, so check it, because otherwise it's going to come back signed without the check mark.
Yeah.
Send it back.
Right.
It's just weird.
Yeah.
It's going to automatically, once they sign it, it's going to automatically send a copy to you and them, so.
Right.
You've got that marked. It's marked.
So you want to do cyber fraud?
Can we do it in 3 minutes, just as a reminder? Okay, quick 3-minute reminder. All right, David's going to bring up what's our favorite topic du jour or de año?
Cyber fraud. You are doing your client a huge disservice. Imagine this: your buyer calls up and said, "We went ahead and wired the money," and you said, "Well, what do you mean wired the money?" Well, we got an email from you telling us to wire the deposit or wire the money for closing. And we sent it because it came from you. All right. You have to educate whenever you start a relationship with a buyer. You need to educate them on cyber fraud, because there's absolutely nothing worse than having a conversation like that. And my next door neighbor told me about a friend of his who had exactly that situation. They saved up $50,000. They were looking for a house. They'd found a house, and they got an email, and it appeared to be from their realtor, and it said, Send your $50,000 to this, and here's the wiring instructions, and they did it. All right. My first thought was, I want to get a hold of their realtor, and I want to scream at them, because that whole thing could have been avoided. All right. So don't be the realtor that I want to scream at. If you do anything less than educate both your sellers and your buyers that whenever money is wired, tell them, hey, at some point in this transaction, you, the buyer, are going to be wiring money. Absolutely do not. Tell them stories. Tell them stories about, hey, people have sent $50,000, $250,000, $500,000 because they got a hacked email, and they went ahead and sent the money. And there's some small chance if within an hour or so you contact, but just forget that option. Make sure, distinguish yourself from other realtors who don't have this conversation. Don't fly through sign this, sign that, sign that. When you get to cyber fraud, sit with them at least for 10 or 15 minutes and explain what can happen. Why is this important to you? This will happen to 1 in 10 buyers. They will get an email and it will say, send this money. Also, title companies. Always voice verify. If you're, tell them, hey, absolutely, if you forget everything, whenever you're about to wire money, you call, look up on the internet the number of the company or whoever it is you're wiring money to, and then call those people and tell them. All right. Last quick story. We're a title company. There was somebody closing in another title company, and they were wiring money to us for a closing where these people were going to be buying in the afternoon. My staff is ordered to call and voice verify the wiring instructions that we sent to them. The person on the other end of the line said, well, we're in a big hurry. I don't have time for this. I said, well, I'm just going to call back. I don't have time. And they said, okay, I've got it teed up here, and we're just about to send the money, the $248,000. And I got your wiring instructions. It has your logo. It was your email. And so my staff said, well, give me the first number of the AB, and the number was wrong. All right. So their system had been hacked. The hacker pulled our logo and made it look exactly like theirs. The title company was about to wire $248,000 out, and it would have been gone. So tell your people, whether they be buyers or sellers, that there is danger out there, and they're going to lose their money unless they do X, Y, and Z. All right?
And we haven't signed the wire fraud notice. We get that, right? But to David's point, it's amongst 12 other things they're signing and going back to the judge and the layman and the professional and so on and so forth. Many of you, and I recommend this, have put on the bottom of your signature that you use for email signatures for real estate, okay? basically saying you will never receive wiring instructions from me. All right? I highly recommend it. All right? You will never receive wiring instructions from me. Any email that appears to come from me that has wiring instructions, red flags should go flying up and cease and step away from the computer now. Right? Seriously, it's that big of a deal. All right? Trust me, you guys get upset. Jim and I have conversations all day long about you guys arguing over $338. Do we not, Jim? Who said someone took the wine cooler? All right? Okay, this is a lot more than $338 is what I'm telling you. All right? Take your $338 conversation and magnify it, exponentially multiply it. You guys know what that is, all right? Take it to the 5th degree. It doesn't take long. You start to multiply anything, our physics guy will tell us something to the 5th gets big in a hurry, all right? Okay, unless it's smaller than 1, then it gets really small in a hurry, but that's okay. He and I could have long conversations. I love that. Where's Janina Wozniak, too? She would jump in. All right, okay, all right. Okay, that being said, just be careful. It's a lot of money. This is the biggest deal that could happen, right? This is where we could have the most culpability, not only us, but where the biggest chance. That's why they do it. Their risk reward is high, right? They could go rob somebody at the corner liquor store, or they could try and get $248,000 out of somebody. All right, and they're getting better. It used to be you could catch them because they'd have great logos, but their grammar sucked, right? Because they're in Russia hacking into your thing, and they say, "You send money now, please, to my account, thank you." All right, then something's just not right here, right? Okay, I don't know, just the way it just doesn't feel right. Okay, something's up, right? But they've gotten better. They've hired English-speaking people to actually write their fake emails for them, so now they sound more Anglo, and so it's coming from us, right? And so just beware, all right? They're smart people out there, and they're going to continue to try and do it. So, plus, Dave and I have this conversation most months, because if you guys ever come back to me and my E&O company says, well, how come you didn't warn your agents? Well, let me show you the footage, all right? We got 58 different times that they've been made aware that this is an issue, all right? So talk to them, don't talk to me, all right? So that's kind of where we're going with this as well. You have been warned, all right? And everybody reach up and do an e-signature, right? Air signature. That's signing your permission. Jim, scan the room. Thank you very much. All right. Now we can prove that they've actually agreed.
That's exactly right.
Okay, perfect.
That's exactly
awesome.
right. Two quick points.
Yeah.
One is, my part was 3 minutes.
Yeah.
You went over.
I did. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. I'm going to bill you billable hours, by the way. Okay.
American Patriot Title in my office is in Carrollwood at Fletcher and Dale Mabry, so we can help anybody out.
Great company, by the way. They do a fantastic job. All right. And you get the benefit of having David and all his jokes along with it. All right. Awesome. Thanks, David. Appreciate it. Good deal. All right. Alissa. See? Her name's spelled A-L-I-S-S-A. All right. So I've called her Alissa because I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to pronounce it the way it's written. All right. But it's Alissa. And Nick Caputo, is your dad watching, you think, online? All right. Hey, Nick. All right, if you want her to be called Alissa, then spell it Alissa. All right? All right. So I'm just kidding. Alissa's dad, Nick, introduced us to Alissa. Nick has been with us for many, many years. Now he's kind of splitting time, or more time actually, in Tennessee, right? Okay? So her dad's up in Tennessee more than he is here and doing real estate up there, but he still has access to Future Home Realty, so he might be logged on watching us and getting it going. So, how many of you guys know Alissa? Woo! All right? The Jammers do. All right? They have their own little subgroup over there, all right, that know what's going on. So if you are checking us out or haven't been to any of our office meetings, we always like to bring in one of... Want to sit down? Sure. All right. Here, I'll let you hold it because I'm loud. Okay. All right? We like to bring in one of our top agents and kind of share best practices, things that are working for them. The cool thing is that when we do this, we get a myriad. Tom, you've done this before. You were one of our first ones, I think, way back in the day when we first started doing this. Just different. Hey, we got some people that buy Zillow zip codes. We got other people that wouldn't pay for a lead if it, would be the last thing they'd ever do. We got people that do direct mail campaigns. I got people that say, hey, I don't know how. It's just people come to me and say, I want to buy a house. And so the cool thing is that you get to see a myriad or a difference in the way people interact, right? In the way they conduct their business. because there are so many different ways to conduct this business. So I'm excited to bring you up. So tell us, first of all, tell us a little about your story, kind of business you came out of, and how long in real estate, and all that kind of stuff. So
I got a reminder yesterday that it's 2 years with Future Home because I was getting LinkedIn messages.
Cool.
So
Awesome.
kind of interesting that I'm here today. So I got my license 2 years ago. It was a second career for me, getting into real estate. Like Bob said, my dad has been in real estate for quite some time. He retired and then got his real estate license. So for several years he was saying to me, Alissa, get your license, get your license, get your license. I'm like, Dad, I'm so busy. I have other things going on. I can't. I had, a million reasons why not to. And then I had what I would call a change in circumstances in my life. I'm a single mom. I have 2 daughters. And it was time to take a look at everything. And I had time to think and figure out, okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to decrease my expenses, make more money, take care of my kids? And sales has been my life forever. I've been in the jewelry business, fine jewelry, since I'm 20 years old, which was a long time ago. So
you got your license 2 years ago, so just like for 3 years prior to that, you were in real estate?
I wish.
Oh, you were in jewelry?
I wish.
Okay.
So I took a job at a funeral home. I was selling funeral arrangements and cemetery plots because I got health insurance. I had 2 other jobs, and then my brother said to me, Alissa, what's the worst thing that can happen if you get your license? You won't use it? So as I had a full-time job, 2 kids, 2 other businesses, I went to real estate school. And then I had 4 jobs at one time. So I was working a lot, very hard, but when I started real estate, I hit the ground running. And I've had training in jewelry and training in when I worked at the cemetery. And somebody said to me, when you work your sphere, work from the inside out, not the outside in. The grasping for flyers and mailers, and work from the inside out. And that resonated with me. And I didn't get on the phone and say to everybody, hey, guess what? I have my real estate license. Send me business. I started going to classes. I went to 100K. I listened. I talked a lot, but I listened more. And it was the best thing that I could have done. So I would listen to Bob talk about fuzzy bunny slippers. And I heard him talk about Sarah Hash. And one day I said, okay, I have to find out who this Sarah Hash is. So I messaged her and I said, Bob says all these great things about you. Who are you? Let's meet. And we met for coffee. And Sarah has been an inspiration to me. So thank you very much.
Awesome.
So that's kind of how it all
2
began.
years isn't a long time.
2 years is not a long time.
And by the way, you don't get to sit up here unless you are a capper, all right? And cappers for us, if you remember in our model, means you're doing at least 14 or 15 deals a year, right? Again, because you cap with us not based on volume per se, because it's based on numbers of transactions. However, they usually correlate, and I know Alissa's numbers, and it's quite rapid, right, to be able to get, because there are some people that, hey, I've been in the business 15 years, haven't sold 14 homes, right, in my whole career, all right, and now, so where's your business coming from? Okay, so you're working that sphere inside out, right, meeting with Sarah, and Sarah's kind of helped direct that a little bit, kind of laser focus some of that stuff, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay.
My business has come from a lot from referrals.
Good.
I remember my first call, it was Labor Day weekend, 2 years ago. I was coming out of the movie theater, and somebody that I worked out with at the gym sent me a message, and she said, can you show us a couple of homes this weekend? I was sweating, crying. I was so excited. I said, oh my gosh, like it's starting, it's happening. I have my license. I'm going to show houses. This is awesome. So that was.
Better get my lockbox key.
Yeah. Holy cow. So I took her and her family and I sold them a home. And then I rented, I property managed don't do it. If anybody's listening, don't do it. I property managed their home twice and then sold that home. So my leads a lot of times just come from people that know me. I've been in the Trinity area for a very long time. The funeral home became a huge source of referrals.
A lot of estate sales going on there.
People passed away, and they would need to sell their family member's home. And it became a big source of referrals there. And I stay in touch with the people that I worked with. And it's just so important to keep touching your connections, whether it's on social media or with a phone call. I still write cards. I wrote 320 some odd cards to people in my neighborhood just to introduce myself and tell them what I was doing. So
handwritten notes?
Handwritten notes, like this,
Yeah,
by the
right.
end of that. But handwritten notes.
Get opened. Yeah, it's a lot easier to just do a mass mailing. Sure it is.
And then
But
I
you
have,
get no response.
yeah.
What's your notes say?
What did my note say? I introduced myself and I said that my name was Alissa Caputo. I'd recently moved to the neighborhood, and what did I say? Oh gosh, Sarah, do you remember what I said? Oh, that was it. Yeah, if you ever need a cup of sugar or a roll of paper towels, call me, knock on my door, here's my email. And then I wrote, I'm also a real estate agent and a mom. If you ever need any referrals, a painter, a carpenter, whatever, give me a call. So I think we talk about commission breath, and it's absolutely the worst thing you can portray to somebody, that you're desperate and you're looking for their business. I never thought that just having conversations with people would get you business. So I had friends that asked me to list their home. Your sign is out, you get a phone call, answer your phone. Patty spoke about this a few months ago. I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference. If you're not going to answer your phone, I'll take the call. Answer your phone. Your sign is up there. People are calling maybe for your listing. Maybe they're calling because they live across the street and they want to know if you can list their home.
And they want to know, hey, look, if I list my home with you, is she going to answer her phone when other people want to buy my home, right? It's a test, right? Is it not? If Alissa has her sign out and I call, I'm thinking about listing with her, and I can't get a hold of her. It's like, well, what if I put my home for sale with her, and then buyers want to get a hold of her to look at my home? She doesn't answer her phone, right? So does it not make sense? I mean, psychologically, put yourself in the consumer's shoes, right? How about that once in a while? All right, that's the opposite of commission breath, is doing that. And what you mean, commission breath is what we joke, well, we don't, because people can smell it a mile away, right? And it's very offensive to them. All right, I can tell already, I've never seen Alissa do business, right? But I know that there's a difference in people being compelled to do business with someone and people being repelled from doing business with somebody, right? Most of the time, sales agents or salespeople are repelling, right? It's like, whatever, oh, here they come, turn the other way. Oh my gosh, here we go. I didn't need paper products, but I'm going down the paper products aisle because what's her name's on the, whatever aisle, the chip aisle, right? And I'm out, okay? So I'm going to try and avoid her and just run the loop so I can avoid her the whole time because I know she's going to ask for business, right? You don't want it to get there, and Alissa doesn't do that, right? No. It just becomes you attract, you don't chase, right? And that's what we teach a lot of is attract your business, don't chase it.
I had a listing in Port Richey. My sign was outside. I got a call one day. Oh, hi, my name is so-and-so. My sister owns the house across the street. I need to list the house. She's passed away. Okay, I spoke to him. Where are you from? La, 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 la. We chatted for quite some time on the phone. And he said to me, the house next door is for sale, I said, oh, I know very well that it is. He said, I have to tell you, I called that listing agent first. I called the name of the person that was on that sign. They didn't answer their phone. You answered the phone. You're getting the listing. It's not brain surgery. I love this business, and I wish I could stand here and say I'm the smartest person in the room, but I'm not. Answer your phone, treat people well, be honest, be nice, be sincere. If they need their hand held, hold their hand. If they're giving you the signal that I've got it taken care of, I just need you for this, this, and this, then follow that lead. Don't be overwhelming. And you're really a chameleon so much in sales.
That is such a great point. You know, and Michael Mayer in his book talks about, right, that's why we study the disc profile, because that's what the platinum rule is all about, right? The golden rule says treat others the way you want to be treated. But the platinum rule says treat others the way they want to be treated. I need to be sensitive enough to look and say, hey, look, just because I'm a spreadsheet guy doesn't mean that Patty's a spreadsheet gal, right? So if I'm dealing with Patty, I need to adjust my presentation or my conversation. Really, we don't like to say we're giving presentation. Presentation sounds like sales. Conversation sounds like, hey, let's just make this happen. Let's solve something, right? But we need to adjust based upon their need, not based upon my need. Are you with me, right? Okay, so if we're consultative in how we're approaching something, and that's exactly, I could just tell what you, I mean, it's no, the day I remember you come into your first 100K with your dad, and it was at the Ultimar,
It was.
Which, by the way, we're firing those up. I'll give you the dates here before we leave, all right? In 2 weeks, we'll be firing up the new round of 100Ks. But coming,
It was
and
an
I can just
evening.
tell, you know, you just tell when people are going to hit it and do it. You know, I can just
Thank
tell.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Said, you know what? Said she gets it. It doesn't take long for just, you know, to see people to get it, to make it happen. How about you guys? Questions? Anything else you want to share before I open it up for questions for them?
I'll tell you one thing,
Yeah.
or I'll tell everybody the same thing. Get up in the morning, get dressed, be ready. Don't spend the day in your fuzzy bunny slippers. Don't wait for the phone. Get up, get dressed, be ready, because that call could come. And if you're at noon, you haven't had a shower, you're laying around, you're scratching your head, you're like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen today. Don't do it. Get up every day and be thankful for today and everything you have, whether it's big or small. My life was very, very different 6-7 years ago. And every day, that's what I do. I'm so thankful for everything that I have. And if you're happy and you portray that and you feel good, people will sense it and they will want to work with you. It's not brain surgery.
There, you know, that is loaded with hashtags. That whole thing. You could get about 4 months worth of Instagram posts out of that thing, man. Just start hashtagging just little bits and pieces. That's awesome stuff.
Thank you.
When you first got started, what kind of training did you take or was available to you to come up to speed with all the?
Everything. So I went to 100K. I did things online. I went to meetings. I went to meetings that title companies have done. I still go to training classes at least once a month, if not more. I go to all the different boards. Don't forget that even if you're a member of Pro or West Pasco, you can still go to the other boards. I still go, in fact, I'm going, I think it's the 21st to one about the MLS. I am far from master, but if you keep learning and growing, and you're meeting people, that's the other thing. I meet people in classes. I make more connections. I went to, it was a meeting at one of the offices, and I'm out at the door, and somebody else is standing at the door, and we can't get the door open. So it's Eric and I standing there. Does your key work? I don't know, my key's not working. Maybe they're trying to tell us something. And
Did you guys pay your dues? I'm just teasing you.
And so from there, we've built a friendship, we've done business together. So I just keep going to classes, meetings. I talk to other agents, read the 7 levels, use the 7 levels, read The Greatest Salesman, listen to those scrolls. My scroll this month is I Will Laugh at the World.
I love that one.
And it's a great scroll. So it's easy to say, oh, I'm going to do all of these different things, but do them. If I can do them, any of you can do them. I didn't want to come here and show you a picture of my desk. It's so unorganized, but I know where everything is. So play to your strengths. When you need help with something, ask for it. I call my dad all the time.
That's awesome. He's a good guy, by the way. You get a chance to meet Nick. Nick's awesome. That's a great question. More questions?
Is anybody new? Is anybody?
New?
So you're new? New?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. That's newish. Newish.
I don't use a transaction coordinator, but I'm going to be getting together with Patty probably next week talking about transaction coordinators because she has said to me, you really should. So the reason why I didn't in the beginning because I wanted to learn more of the paperwork and the process and all of that.
And that's a good point, by the way, because brand new people, we promote transaction coordinators just because it's good to have that outsourced, right? But it's also good to know on the front side what you want out of a transaction coordinator. If you've never done a deal, then you have no idea what you're looking for in a transaction. Boy, I'm so glad. Plus, trust me, you do for like 5 or 7, 10 deals. Next thing you know, you'll appreciate what they do for you and how much the value is that's there. Joe, you got a question?
Yeah. What's your split between buyers and sellers?
What do I?
What's your percentage? How much buyers versus sellers?
It was like 60-40 last month.
Of buyers?
Yes.
Okay, 60% buyers, 40%.
Tell me, you always tell me though about buyers.
What's that?
About you, buyers.
With what?
That you love working.
I do. I'm probably less normal than a lot of people. They are like listing. I love the thrill of the chase, so to speak, and I love finding that place because that's a real certain happiness for people when you're able to find them their home. It's a big deal. They don't forget it.
Do you market your neighborhood? Like, do you target your neighborhood?
Not exclusively, no, I don't. My dad has been a source of referrals for me too, now that he's in Tennessee. I've worked with some of his clients, friends of friends. I've gotten business from my signs with listings. This year I seem to have more listings, but I don't want to be an exclusive listing agent. I enjoy working with buyers, I really do.
Do you use a CRM?
I use a spiral notebook and I have an Excel spreadsheet.
Nice, there you go. You guys didn't hear the question. Do you use CRM, right? And that's the infamous question. Who just got their license recently? 2 months? Okay, good. Is that on the test or something? Right? Do they make you answer, hey, look, here are the top 4 client relationship managers, so here's the thing. Has nothing to do with a spiral notebook, all right, is a CRM. It is. It's not automated, and I get that, right? And I understand the whole process. Any CRM is just an Excel spreadsheet, all right, with a very fancy front on it, okay? Different faces and all that kind of stuff. And I get that they can feed in your data, and all that stuff is great, okay? But I'll tell you this, eyeball to eyeball will beat your spreadsheet all day long.
Yes. Your best CRM is your phone.
Yeah.
Use that phone.
That's
Call people, text them and tell them, oh my gosh, I'm going to be, in Palm Harbor next week. I'd love to have a coffee with you. I haven't seen you. Make the time.
Some software that reminds you to do that? Yeah. Right? But don't let it replace, all right? And again, I'm just telling you, we can go on forever here, but come to 100K, because we teach a lot about I've been doing this long enough to remember when there weren't, CRM wasn't even our lexicon because no one had a computer, no one had email, no one had any of this stuff, all right? And all this, I went through the phase of where we advented into all this, right? And I started seeing my business drop. I was like, what? But it's getting easier. Yeah, but I'm not seeing the people. It's easier to get them their list of properties to go look at. I used to have to go to their work and drop them off with a sheet. Here's a stack. Here are the 8 new ones that just came on the market, John. Here they are. Right? Now it's done for you every morning at 4:37 a.m. automatically, right? Well, guess what? When I got to go see John, we chatted. Hey, I'm not liking this, that, that. And next thing you know, John's cubicle mate said, what's going on over there? Oh, John's looking for houses. Well, John, he's at a 10 by 10 cubicle. I'm in a 10 by 10. Corporate America means we make the same amount of money, right? If John can buy, why can't I buy? I don't know. It's a great question. I think you probably should. Let's take a look. You know what I mean? And here, here are 8 that John didn't want to like. Maybe you'll like them, right? And so, but I was eyeball to eyeball with people, and I started seeing drop in business because I was golfing more and making less. All right, didn't do me any good, right? Because I was losing the interaction with people, and that's what we can't. I mean, it can simplify our lives. I get it, but don't let it replace, right, the human interaction.
Your vendors too. Your vendors make positive and good relationships with your lenders. I've gotten referrals from lenders that I've worked with that said, I would completely trust you with my client. I can think of 3 different very nice transactions that I've had from lender referrals. So when they say to you, I know you're going to take good care of my customer because we had such a good transaction before, that's great because usually we're, looking for the lenders to try and help our customers.
That
But
happened in year 2 for you, that started happening?
That's
Kind of
awesome.
You're starting to get referrals back to you now.
Yes.
In year 2.
Well, you've proven yourself, right? We in 100K we say earn the right, right? You can't just you can't just expect, right? We expect people. Oh, you know what? Hey, you're in my small group at church. You have to use me. No, right? You have to earn the right to get business from somebody. Right? You have to go show massive value to them first before you can even expect them to reciprocate that. There's nothing to reciprocate if you don't give first. And I just know Alissa, she's done it, right? She put in and she's not afraid of hard work, by the way. Right? She's a single mother Italian, right? Okay? Look out, don't get in her way. All right? And
from New Jersey.
Okay, and from New Jersey. That's the trifecta. Remember the one I said about break the kneecaps? I told you about the break the day. I was talking about Alissa. It's tough love, we call it. Yeah, right. But it's just, I'm just telling you, you know what? And there's so many ways to do this business. Isn't it great to know? It's got to be refreshing to your newer people. She's only 2 years in, guys. It's not going to take forever. You just go do the next right thing, right? And good things happen. I'm sorry, I forgot her name here.
Wes.
Okay, Wes said, you know what? What'd you call it? Something karma?
Business karma.
Yeah, business karma. Just go do the next right thing and it'll come back, right? It's all we are. It's all we do. Okay? What's your job today? Get up, get dressed.
Get dressed.
All
Get
right.
those bunny slippers off. Be ready.
Yeah. And the fuzzy bunny slippers, we're talking to the group. Hey, no offense to you guys at home watching. I know you didn't want to come out and get dressed to get here this morning. All right?
Take those slippers off.
We're going to have twice as many people here next month. It's like, I was in my fuzzy bunny, and I looked down, and sure enough,
they called me out.
Fuzzy, all right?
They called me out. Yep.
Too funny. All right, these are great questions. More questions for her. We got about 3 minutes left. Yes, one back here.
With your listings, what are things that you do to sell them?
Yeah, marketing your listings.
When I have a listing appointment, I do the background work, I check comps. Always be prepared. Always show up prepared, not with your bunny slippers and, in a mess. Come prepared. I don't present a whole big book. I find that people want less paper. I don't come with a notebook or a binder all about me. Again, it's about relationships. So I look up all the pertinent information, I check the comps, and I'm prepared. And I tell them what I know about the neighborhood, but then I ask a lot of questions. It's like I was saying, I talk a lot, but I listen more. But in the beginning, you want to ask a lot of questions. What do they need? What are what do they see happening? And then I tell them about the things that I do, all of the marketing. My job is to be a realtor, not a photographer. I have to know my marketing. I have somebody that does help me with that. She's great. But I need to know from them what their expectations are. So ask questions before you start talking about yourself and see what somebody is looking to get out of their home. A lot of times right now, I think there's people that are unrealistic. And I learned another expression, and it is, I would rather turn you down than let you down. Thank you, Sarah. Because there's people out there, especially right now in this market, that are so, right, unrealistic. So bring them into reality, but just be prepared and don't shove a million papers in front of them. Just talk, have a conversation. What do you need? What can I do for you? And these are the things that I'm going to do. I'm going to have a professional photographer come and take aerial, interior. These are the things that you need to do to have the house ready. I'm going to pay for that, but I need you to have the house prepared. And then I go through the listing agreement with them, all the documents, and then I tell them that they're going to be on every website, my Facebook page, our business page, my business page, Instagram, all the social media, and then all the other things that I do. So just listen first and see what they want. What are their expectations of you?
You know, people have different motivations for selling, right? Okay, I mean, and so you don't assume that their motivation is just like the last one you went on, right? And so people, hey, look, I've got some time, and so, hey, look, if you got some time, then you know what, maybe let's push price a little bit and give it a shot and see, but let's have an agreement that if we're not getting the response we want, let's have a plan on when we're going to reduce it. Other people say, hey, look, I've got to be out, and I've got to be in this new school district by, August 28th. All right, different story, right? Okay, we got different things that we need to do. So motivations change, and it may change your marketing based upon, how you're going to attack it. But if you're catching what she's saying, can I hear that?
I was going to say the same thing, Bob.
Yeah.
We've spoken, and let's say, a lot of times you let the client or the person who's going to sell their house do all the speaking. You ask some questions, some probing questions, but you're the feature right now. But on the flip side, when you're at somebody's kitchen table, you let them speak.
Yeah. You need to know what they're looking for. Are they just, oh, maybe I'll sell, maybe I won't, or we have to beat feet out of town, so we have to get this going.
All right. Great question, by the way. That's good stuff. And we need to wrap. Anybody a last little bit before we let Alissa go? Alissa, thank you so much for coming. Give her a hand. It's awesome. Congratulations on capping, man.
Thank you.
That is awesome. That's a quick cap and quick in her real estate career as well. So that's impressive.
Thank you.
That's awesome. All right, so let's wrap it up. So, what is 2 weeks from today? Today is what? 7. So 2 weeks from 14. I can do my math. 14, 10, 13, 21st. Okay, so write these dates down. We'll be sending out. I'll be posting on the 100K group page. All right, which you guys are on there. 100Ks are firing back up. We'll do Oldsmar. Sorry.
Bob, what is 100K?
100K. If those who don't know, 100K is basically a disciplined, systematic approach to this business, right? We're going to show you how to, the whole design is ideally to get you to the point where you're netting $100,000 a year in the business, all right? But that can be whatever you decide. Some people say, oh, that's too much. I can't imagine that much. Or people say, that doesn't even pay half my first mortgage payment, right? And so I get that. So, well, whatever we need to do to get you where you want to go, all right? But it's a systemized, very disciplined approach to the real estate business, all right? Be probably totally different. If you've never been, probably be completely different than anything you've ever seen traditionally sales-wise, right? Because we're not talking about let's go attack our sphere in this method of they no longer want to talk to us anymore, all right? Okay, so attack the sphere usually means scare the sphere, all right? And then the sphere goes, I'm going to go find somebody else because it's not comfortable seeing you in the grocery store. I got to avoid your aisle. Okay, and that's not what we're looking for, right? So 100K, I'm just going to encourage you to come. I'm going to shoot a quick little promo video on it here, and then we'll send out an email invite to everybody as well, chance to register. But the dates are the 21st is, and by the way, we teach it twice here in the Tampa Bay market because we have so many people. We do a Tuesday night will be the 21st in Oldsmar, right, at the Hampton Inn on Tampa Road there. For those of you that evenings work better, 7 o'clock, 7 to 8:30, 9 o'clock really. Okay, it takes about 2 hours to get through the intro sessions. And then the following morning, we'll be at the Hampton Inn in Clearwater, which is down by Pinellas Realty Organization, right across from the Clearwater Airport. That's at 9:30. If you're watching online, I'll be announcing this in Orlando. We'll be doing it the following Thursday morning in Orlando, and Jacksonville will be one day the following week. So,
What time is the one on the 21st?
21st, 7 p.m.
You pick one, right, Bob?
Yeah. You don't need to go to both, all right? There'll be the same information delivered at both. Just pick one. Hampton Inn. Hampton Inn on the 21st is in Tampa Road, Hillsborough Avenue, Tampa Road. Okay.
Any next meeting?
Not yet, but we'll get those going. All right. Yes. So that's coming. If you haven't had a chance to invite somebody, you'll see the invite come out. If you've been already, guess what? Probably not a whole lot new. That's the beauty of teaching principle-based stuff, is that I don't have to change my PowerPoints that often, right? Because when you teach from principles, these are principles that have been around. I mean, Covey jokes in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, right? That all he's doing is taking biblical principles that have been around since the Bible, right? Okay? And just, sharing people with what those are. When you teach principle stuff, it doesn't really change, because the reality is, and here's what we know, what to do is not the problem. To do is the problem, right? It's not what to do. You all know what to do. I put a gun to your head and say, what are you going to do today? If I told you had to sell a house in the next week, what would you do? You'd rattle it off to me all day long, all right? Now, if I put a gun to your head and said, now we're going to go do it, all right? You'd say, well, I'd rather die. Shoot away, all right? Because it's going to take implementing me. I got to go work. All right, then just shoot me down, all right? Okay? So that's what we're going to try and help you get over, all right, is that fear of implementing, of actually going out and doing it, all right? And we have a lot of fun. Who's been to 100K before? Have fun? Yeah. It's a lot of fun. You get to know some people. We enjoy ourselves. We joke about and we self-deprecate a little bit to say, hey, look, let's admit where we are and how we can make some changes and make it, make a difference. So let's make it better next time. Cool? All right? Anybody else got any last-minute things they want to share, add? Okay? Get your wire fraud notices done. What else we talk about legally? Don't record people, all right, without their knowledge. All right, get that covered with the American Home Shield. Everything else, come visit Jim and I in our booth. What booth are we in, Jim? Do we know? I don't know, me either, all right? But someone's going to have it set up for us. Hopefully we get there and we'll just get... What's that? It's tomorrow and Thursday, Wednesday and Thursday, yeah. Yeah, it's over the trade show's free, by the way. You guys going to be in Orlando? You going to Orlando? No? Okay, all right. Come visit us in the trade show if you're there. All right, cool. All right, have a great day. If you guys need anything, let us know. We'll see you. Get out. When I run out of